Now that we've turned 4 panels into 2, it's time to turn 2 panels into 1. We want the deck to be nice and flat, and in this case our panels have a little bit of a warp to them. So it's important to use our 4x4 posts and the batteries like we did before to get that area nice and level. And then once we get it level and get it flush the way we want it, time to use a little bit of fiberglass and go ahead and lock in that shape. This is a little bit tricky as you got to get underneath it and lay your fiberglass upside down. And then of course I've got a glass all the way underneath. This is not a structural support, although it'll add some to that, but what this does is it keeps all of my fiberglass peanut butter from leaking out down below. So once I've got that all glassed underneath it, it's time to go ahead and lay in all the peanut butter, and here you can see I've got a good start to filling in that crack. The peanut butter is a mixture of thickened resin and a lot of chopped strand that I've manually cut up and mixed all together. It's a process of filling and sanding and filling and sanding and filling and sanding. But after a bit of work, you get a pretty good connection here. And as you can see, we've got it pretty nice and flush. And to make my fiberglass peanut butter, I take some chopped strand and cut it up fine into little 1/4-inch pieces. Here you can see I'm just making strips, and then I line those up and chop them all at once. Just makes it go quicker. I like to use a little paper cup. Great little thing for mixing everything up in, and in this case I don't mind being a little bit inaccurate with my activator with the catalyst. In fact, I can catalyze it a little bit hot on this because I'm using it right away. So got the last of my resin can, dumping it all in. Got to use every last little bit of this thing, man. $250 for one of these cans out here on the island of Kauai. In round 2 here, I like to lay a little bit of extra material so that it's just a little bit proud or a little bit high of the surface underneath. That way when I come back and sand it down, I can sand it down flush and I don't need to do a 3rd round of filling. Final sanding with the smooth sandpaper, and she is ready to go ahead and lay down some fiberglass and get this guy all smoothed out. Opening a fresh can of resin. For covering up seams and things like this on the deck, I like to tear off strips of these chopped strand fiberglass, as it leaves me with a rough edge that will blend in like an infinity surface into the existing fiberglass surface. In other words, if I were to cut it, I would have a sharp or a hard edge of the fiberglass that's visible. But with these rough edges, it just blends right in as I coat it with resin. Had a little bit extra resin, so I decided to go ahead and roll out a fresh coat atop the deck to help preserve it as I get ready for the next phase in this build project.